you were Sarah Boone's lawyer, what would your strategy be in this jury selection process?
Well, we all want a jury that's impartial and fair. But what we also want is somebody who can relate. We want a juror who's going to get in our client's shoes. And it's going to be able to understand our defense. It's going to be able to believe what we believe. It's going to be able to believe the credibility of our client, and somebody that can live that particular incident. And in this particular case, agree with our defense or theory of defense.
And so, what would you be looking for? Are there any things you would be specifically looking for, characteristic-wise, that if you were selecting this jury?
Absolutely. I mean, voir dire is the examination of the jury panel. We want to select a certain group of individuals who are going to be able to obviously, understand our theory. But what are we looking for specifically? For example, in this particular case, have you ever domestic violence? Do you know any family members that have ever been a victim of any kind of substance abuse, alcohol abuse? Has anybody been charged with a DUI? So you kind of take the elements, the fact of this case, and you try to see what life experiences the jurors have experienced so that they can relate and understand our theory of defense. Okay.
Jose, is there anything that would be maybe like considered a red flag for you, or anything that you would kind of instantly make you want to say, I want to strike this potential juror?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of things. For example, when you're asking a juror, this is a 3-week trial. These are normal people who have jobs, they have families. The last thing you want somebody that's there that's not competent. You do not want somebody on the panel who doesn't want to be there. It's going to punish you, for being there. You want somebody who's going to be available during the trial period. You want someone who's going to understand. In this particular case, again, we look at, have you ever been a victim of domestic violence? A red flag is anybody in their family with law enforcement. Sometimes we look at the of officers, for example. Again, what kind of jobs do they have? Are they an accountant, for example? An accountant, 2 and 2 is 4. Now, if they have different kind of fields, let's say they're they're a social worker, they understand there's certain crimes that people sometimes go through that they do not initially go out and report. So they're gonna, you want to pick somebody who's going to understand, somebody who can live, like I say, my client's shoes. What do they do for a living? Do they have a family member in law enforcement? Are they going to give more credibility to law enforcement than to any of the witnesses that are testifying? For example, an expert witness. What kind of field are they? Are they a teacher? Are they male, female? A male have a tendency not to report domestic violence. What can typically maybe be, I'm a victim of this kind of crime or violence. Sometimes they get underreported by males. So you're going to want to look also, have they ever served in a, are they going to be someone who's going to be persuasive towards the other jurors, or is it a foreman, for example? One of the questions we always ask is, have you ever been a foreman or a forewoman, meaning that you're selected to make the ultimate decision or speak for the group? So we want to pick somebody who's going to not be persuaded by the rest of the other individuals. So there's a lot of questions, hundreds of questions.